Today I'm going to talk about something that happened around the year 1999. I was about 15 years old. It's a slightly poltergeist-ish story, but it's not scary or anything. This one morning, I had been asleep and I was beginning to wake up. It was that sort of hazy, half awake, half asleep state that, it's not all that weird for weird things to happen, at least in terms of a dreamlike kind of way. But this morning in particular, I was half awake and I heard very clearly, very distinctly, loud enough, but certainly not like a yell or anything, but it was loud. I heard a middle-aged man say, "It's time to wake up. Wake up." And it was particularly weird for it to be a man because there were no men in the house. It was just my mom and I. And so I didn't open my eyes because I just wrote it off and assumed it was some weird in-between dream kind of thing. And a few seconds later, though, I heard the very distinct sound of wood furniture scraping against a wood floor, like moving furniture. And that's when, my eyes flew open and I sat straight up and I looked across the room, and kitty corner, diagonally across the room from my bed, I had this very old, very rickety 2-shelf sort of display case, kind of like a very old wooden shelf, shoddy kind of rickety thing. I knocked into it repeatedly growing up, and every single time I could basically look at this thing and something would fall off of it. And so because of this, I very intentionally, I had this shelf really wedged up against the wall because it needed the extra stability. And so the fact that this shelf had been moved about 8-10 or so inches away from the wall. It was less than a foot, but not a whole lot less than a foot. And the thing about this shelf is that apart from being really rickety, I used it as a display shelf. I had really, girly things of the time. I had a couple porcelain dolls and, a music box and little, just decorative stuff. And nothing fell off, nothing was out of place. The entire shelf just moved as is, 8 to 10 inches away from the wall. And I have no explanation for that. I have no explanation for how, A, it could have moved at all, B, how it moved and nothing fell off, or C, nothing was even out of place. It was all in the exact same place, apart from the entire shelf itself was 8 to 10 inches away from where it had been. So nothing else weird happened, that day after that. That's the extent of the weird story. But it was one of those things that I never had an explanation for. It was strange. There's no way to classify that one other than we're just going to chalk that up to some weird shit. Have you ever had an experience like that? If so, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear it. And as always, if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Every little bit of support helps this channel.